Let's don't let a good thing die.
Right there, there's the gas lines right over there. See those? They're leaking. Oh my God!
Remember the LA wildfires? Remember how multi-million-dollar mansions on the water all completely got wiped out? Well, a foreign investor quietly bought 9 oceanfront lots in Malibu for $65 million following these wildfires. In my opinion, this was one of the most poorly handled disasters we have seen till this day, and it raised a lot of questions, especially with the events that happened around the same time, like with the insurances, the cut in the firefighter funding, and especially if we're about to see something like this. This investor, whoever he is, of course we have no idea, he assembled a team to track down owners because the desirable sites weren't even listed. He built another team to find out which lots and frontage would be best to build on and eventually resell. They said I'd say about 50% of these had sentimental value just based off of memories, so these beautiful areas are now a land grab for investors. Not really sure how this is legal.
Pregnancy robots could soon give birth to human children in a revolutionary breakthrough. China is reportedly working on designing a bot with an artificial womb, which will receive nutrients through a hose in its abdomen that'll soon be able to carry a baby for about 10 months before giving birth. Still a lot of questions like how the egg and sperm would be fertilized and inserted into the womb, and of course how the bot would give birth. But if all goes according to plan, the prototype will make its debut next year. And for those struggling to conceive, hiring a robot to carry their baby will cost about $14,000 US.
What in the world, bro? Welcome back to the channel, my good people. In this episode right now, we're gonna kick back and watch TikToks that might make you say, oh man, no way, what is going on here?
And we have all the oxygenated atmosphere. That's why we had giants. That's why we also had these giant trees. That's why we had the sequoias. But you can dig down there, you can see it in the 1800s newspapers. Throughout the 1800s, early 1900s, all around America, farmers were digging up giant bones. And they sent hundreds and hundreds of skulls, all these bones to the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian made a huge apology for losing or destroying all these bones. They're all gone. There's no more of these bones left. Where are the giant bones? They're probably hidden somewhere. But giants existed. It's known, it's a fact. People lived longer in the old days than we do now. It's a fact. And the reason I know it's a fact is because there's evidence. And the other reason I know it's a fact is because I can do it today.
Is this one of those damn portals? Can they see me? Are you waving at me, bro? Oh shit, they really can see me. Oh shit, that's crazy. What?
This is a no-wake zone, people. Look at this. Oh my God. Stop.
Oh man, it's going down out there. Be careful, y'all.
Southern border wall black to make sure that we encourage individuals to not come into our country illegally. Now, if you look at the structure that's behind me, it's tall, which makes it very, very difficult to climb, almost impossible. It also goes deep into the ground, which would make it very difficult, if not impossible, to dig under. And today, we are also going to be painting it black. That is specifically at the request of the president, who understands that in the hot temperatures down here, when something is painted black, it gets even warmer, and it will make it even harder for people to climb.
It's rare that I'm speechless. But I want to be sure I understood. The people running the Department of Energy for President Biden's administration shoveled $93 billion, not million, $93 billion out the door in 76 days, and it just happened to be the time between when President Trump was elected and President Biden, their boss, was leaving. Is that right?
It is correct and distasteful. Confidence undermining.
Yo, that is wild.
Israel was created as the instrument to bring about the Battle of Armageddon and the fulfillment of prophecy, a war that will be so terrible, where nuclear weapons will be used, so that the American citizens and the other people in the world will get down on their knees and beg for no more war. And what is the answer to that? They're going to be told the only way we can guarantee no more war is if we destroy the sovereignty of nations and we come together as one humanity in a one world government.
Right.
Now I'm telling you, unless the American people wake up and stop it, starting in about 1996, the Battle of Armageddon will become a reality. Babylon is in Iraq. Read the book of Revelations, whether you believe in the book or not, read it, because the men who are bringing this about are using it as their script.
Well, the UN did indeed charter Israel as a sovereign nation. They were the ones who created this state.
That is correct. It was really created by Great Britain and the United States, with the United States being the major instigant.
Then you have another report titled Underground Tunnels and Hybrid Breeding Programs, and you cover Phil Schneider's claims about stumbling into a network of deep underground bases with non-humans in them under Dulce, New Mexico. Phil died about a year after going on this whistleblower speaking tour, and a lot of people think what he said was just too sensational, but you go on to add that Dulce is for beings that some say live underground. It's 160 kilometers from Scientology's Trementina Base, which is an underground complex they built for some reason, and it's 200 kilometers from Epstein's Zorro Ranch, which has an 8,000 square foot underground level and is said to go even deeper. And of course, Epstein talked to people about his hopes to seed the human race from this facility after a cataclysm. So more logs for the fire. Those pieces are starting to fit, wouldn't you say?
If you really want to get to the truth of the matter, you have to factor in an underground world. In my opinion, that's really what is at the heart of what's going on. Non-human manipulation. And so if that's the case, then why couldn't reptilian beings shapeshift and hide into a human form?
In a recent interview on Iconic, Juliette Ryan, who was kidnapped by Epstein for 2 years, said that she never witnessed any of the dozens of girls there being trafficked to any men other than Epstein, but she did wake up once paralyzed on a table and witnessed Epstein shapeshift into something else. Wow, wild stuff, but I love the connections. My man escaped just in the crack of time. But nah, for real, that was insane. I hope nobody got hurt.
Even if you told them they're going to a hologram Tupac show, I'll go so far as to say 20% of the people would think it's real.
It'll get to the point to where it does look
and they'll be like,
real.
no, that's Tupac.
Because the real thing will be pretty much gone. People will want to see the fake version and be tricked. Even knowing that it's not real, it doesn't matter. Its perception is reality.
I don't want to see holograms. I'd rather stay home.
Let me ask you something. Why would a global fast food giant show a man being dipped headfirst into a river of gravy? Some said it was funny, but some say it was a message. In 2003, rumours spread that KFC was using lab-grown meat engineered without bones or beaks. Well, they laughed, said it was internet nonsense. And then in 2021, they actually partnered with a Russian lab to 3D print chicken nuggets. Now, they're showing you simulated cannibalism in an ad campaign. Once as a joke, twice a coincidence, 3 times, that's a warning.
Apparently they have to tell us what they're doing because they live by this universal karmic law or something like that. People just don't want to believe, man, and that's why they keep getting away with everything.
When 9/11 happened, there was someone present, witnessed it, unfortunately, you know, how traumatic that would have been. And his name was Gerard Way. You know who that is?
No.
So it was a guy who was trying to deal with this, going to his therapist, and started creating music and came up with a band called My Chemical Romance.
Oh
right?
my gosh.
And then there's a girl named Stephanie Meyer who had listened to My Chemical Romance and was inspired by their music and started writing books that went on to become the Twilight series. Not even finished. Then there's somebody who read the Twilight series and started creating a fan fiction of it. His name was E.L. Wright, I believe.
Oh, I know where this one's going.
Yep. And he went on to create a fan fiction for the Twilight series that somehow transformed into 50 Shades of Grey. So just
Wait.
just as if
that's a double,
just as if like the 9/11
triple
wasn't
tragedy.
Una esfera.
¿La acercaste? Pero de aquí no.
Aquí la estoy viendo.
Wow, ahorita no lo enseño.
¿Qué onda? Una esfera, mira.
Ay,
Ya
la
se
tapó
escondió.
la nube. No fue la nube. Síguele viendo, Leti. Por si cuando se quite la nube todavía.
Man, that's some real good footage right there, bro.
Gosh.
Bill Gates did not invent anything. The basic program was made by some mathematics professors in a college. The office operating system was by a software engineer, and he bought it for $50,000. He's built the empire by creating patents on software. And the first WTO meeting in Singapore gave him tax concessions, which is why all the IT industry moved to India. The fact that Silicon Valley became India's Silicon Valley is because they could save $40 billion annually by paying lower wages for the same work. It was an outsourcing of software, all for Bill Gates. And then he started to put some of his money into philanthropy. And everyone thinks, wow, he's such a generous man. He gives so much. But I've done an analysis in the book. Every place he gives to is his former future markets.
Yeah, not just Bill Gates either. Same thing goes for Elon Musk.
Yo, do me a favor. Pull up moon phase chart. All the phases of the moon. And it'll show you all the new moons, half moons, all the different phases of the moon. Just search and look up moon phase chart. And you won't see one of them that looks like that. That's a complete smiley face. And all my life, we've always known the different phases of the moon. Half moon, new moon. Go look up the chart yourself. You won't see one that looks like that.
This is back when I was a patrol officer before I went up to the gang unit. There was an apartment complex where the caller on the first floor called 911 for a physical disturbance for the floor above and said they could hear a man and woman yelling. We get there, I knock on the door, and I hear this deep voice. I was like, Fayetteville police, open up. And it's like, get the F out of here. We don't want you here. And I was like, oh, well, sorry, we're here. And then I hear, help. So we took a step back, kicked the door in. As soon as the door came open, there was a female that was standing right in front of the door. So we grabbed her, pulled her back, gave her back to the third officer, and then myself and the secondary officer. This dude's in here or he's jumped out, right? So we clear up, nothing. So I go back out and I'm like, all right, let me talk with her. As I'm talking to her, I'm getting her information. She's cut real bad. EMS comes, they wrap her up, and I'm asking her, hey man, what happened? Like, who's in the apartment with you? And she's like, nobody's in the apartment. I'm like, look, I get you're trying to protect your man here. I'm just thinking it's just a battered wife who doesn't want their husband going to jail. And she looks up at me. She's like, what are you gonna do, Samuel? And Samuel's my first name. But Samuel's not on my badge. It's not on my shirt. It's not on paper. Anything that I did paperwork-wise was Blake. There's only one person that calls me Sam and Samuel, and that's my grandfather.
They tell you the moon landing was humanity's greatest achievement, but what if it was humanity's greatest deception? And it was filmed in Hollywood? Look at the first Universal Studios logo from 1927. It shows Earth as seen from space. But the first official photo of Earth from space wasn't taken until 32 years later. How did they know what our planet looked like? But it doesn't stop there. And this is where it gets truly interesting. Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon. Who was he, really? In official databases, he's listed as an actor. And that's why the stars honoring the Apollo 11 astronauts aren't in a science center. They're on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This wasn't a scientific mission. It was the most expensive movie ever made. The proof is in the photos themselves. Why are there no stars in the sky? Why do the shadows fall in different directions, as if lit by multiple sources on a film set? They couldn't even get the size of the Earth right. This isn't space, it's a soundstage.
The moon landing was Hollywood's greatest achievement. We definitely didn't go to the moon, but people out there will call you crazy for even thinking that.
Now, that's a controversial opinion all on its own. But he's now going a step further, arguing that the Three-Eye Atlas could be a nuclear-powered alien spacecraft. Loeb says the Hubble picture appears to show the object emitting its own light. The object also appears to lack something that all comets have in common, and that's a tail. So what is this thing exactly? Well, joining...
Scientists gave Molly to 4 octopuses, and this is what happened. Octopuses are notoriously antisocial animals when they're not trying to mate, like to the point where they will attack and eat each other just to be alone. But under the influence of MDMA, they become super friendly, cuddly, and all touchy-feely, drawing a very accurate comparison to its effects on humans. Johns Hopkins University conducted this study because octopus and human brains have certain similarities, allowing researchers to use marine creatures to study the human brain. And what they've learned is there is a clear connection between serotonin, basic brain chemistry, and social behavior. Meaning even for animals that tend to live in isolation, altering one chemical in the nervous system can completely change how social they become. So if you encounter an octopus at your next rave, this may explain why.
Man, talk about rolling in the deep. That come down's about to be wild. They better watch out.
Me and my boy joined America's most notorious cult. As they would say, a religion, a saving, a way of life. Beings, yeah, that's us, but kind of. We're Satan. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, even Amir Baller and Third Eye. Oh, no, we're not. It's a joke. Time and time again, we see various forms, cult-like activities within this so-called religion. Joining Scientology involves a process of auditing and heavy questioning in order to pull you away from your actual self. Spending the day with Scientologists, we realize that our experiences extend beyond a singular lifetime, even if we don't realize it. No longer Amir. And my boy, yeah, he's no longer Omen. Tyrone Serbianovich, Tony Balsakovich, checking in. Scientology, let's see what y'all are about.
Well, Tyrone, I have a question for you on this test.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand the questions?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
American professional football now has male cheerleaders. This is going viral all over social media, and of course it comes with a lot of controversy. This is the Minnesota Vikings, and many people were surprised to see at their home preseason opener to see 2 male cheerleaders. This is all over the internet right now, and I think the reason why there's a lot of controversy with this is because American football is a very traditional sport. And due to the nature and aggression of the sport, it's probably one of the most masculine and manly sports out there. And over the years, the cheerleading in itself has become very popular, special thanks to the Dallas Cowboys. They had a whole show and documentary based off of the cheerleaders themselves. And in the past, there has been male cheerleaders, especially the stuntmen who help them carry and do the stunts. But this is a whole different energy, and a lot of people have questions, especially very simple ones, like, why are we breaking the tradition of American sports and American football? Why now? Of course, the more controversial ones, like, what does the locker room situation look like on the Minnesota Vikings now, especially for the cheerleaders? the children watching these cheerleaders that look up to them, what kind of influence does this have? But
man, I already know a lot of NFL fans out there are going to be pissed. Truthfully, I don't really care, man. It doesn't really change anything about my life.
So you think the point of arresting Diddy was to shut down inquiry into what Diddy was doing?
Get the data, right? I think they did it to get all the data away from Diddy because he was being sued in civil court. And so they arrest Diddy. What'd they just convict him of? Nothing.
Well, that's clearly the point of the first Jeffrey Epstein arrest.
Weiner's laptop had kill switches in it. It was filled with crap that wasn't supposed to be there. We never get to see it. Supposedly 9 cops watched the videos on Weiner's laptop. They had to keep leaving the room because they couldn't stand what they were seeing, and all 9 are now dead. And there's names and faces and deadness, right? They're real people. Now you can say, well, maybe they died for other reasons. I go, but it's still 9 cops. You know, it's like the 5 cops who died after January 6th, right? 4 of them were suicides. According to AI, there were about 80 cops really in the thick of things. 4 of them died from suicide.
It seems like it's all about blackmail. Blackmail is the key to the power for them. I bet they raided Diddy's house just so they could own the blackmail for themselves.
You really don't believe in the Mandela effect? Do you remember this movie and the movement that gave birth to it? That's right. I'm talking about the 2012 Mayan calendar scare, the one that none of us want to admit we actually believed. For a whole year, we watched it build. Disaster predictions, countdowns, weekly headlines, warning of the end. But try to find it now, and it's nearly vanished. And here's the part nobody talks about. The world was supposed to end on 12/21, but now, panic points to 12/12. And on 12/11, NASA uploaded a video titled, Why the World Didn't End Yesterday. Now you tell me.
Hillary Clinton is one of the most disgusting human beings on the planet. Very much so. Always has been, always will be, and will be inserting clips on her response to Benghazi several times throughout the interview. I want to show who she is.
She's worse than her husband.
A lot of people say that this was triggered by a YouTube video. This is her statement. I condemn in the strongest terms the attack on our mission in Benghazi today. The United States deplores any intentional effort to denigrate the religious beliefs of others. Our commitment to religious tolerance goes back to the very beginning of our nation.
Yeah, what you expect from that woman.
We always think of the enemy in terms of he wants to destroy us, he wants to ruin our marriage, he wants to kill us, he wants to make us sick. If he can just wear you out, there's an imitation here, there's a mockery. Every time one of these sleep paralysis entities show up at your bedroom door, even though you're scared, what's really going on is they're making a mockery of the fact that Jesus Christ is going to come back for his bride.
So the dead internet theory is all based upon the idea that the internet actually died in 2016. According to the theory, 2016 was the last time anything on the internet was actually real, and since then it has turned into artificially generated content to gaslight the world. Sounds absolutely bonkers, but here we go. So Timothy Shoup from an Institute for Future Studies predicted that by 2026, 99% of the internet will be artificially generated. We know AI is advancing. You just got to look at ChatGPT. You can literally ask GBT to create you news articles, stories, content, and it'll do it in minutes. Once upon a time, people only believed what they read in the newspapers. People went and read newspapers as their source of news. Now people go online, people go to Google, people go to social media. The internet has the ability to manipulate its user, whether that be spreading fake news to cause mass panic, or to convince you to buy a certain shampoo brand. It literally has the power. And the more AI evolves, the worse it's going to get. It's already getting very difficult now to spot the difference between reality and this stuff. Can you imagine what it's going to look like in 5 more years?
It's hypocritical to live in a society that glorifies alcohol on the one hand and that demonizes psychedelics on the other. This is nuts.
Why do you think that is, though?
Well, I think it's pretty clear
Yeah.
that psychedelics lead people to ask questions about the prevailing reality. It's as simple as that. And I think those in power knew that long ago. And they knew that psychedelics represented a danger to the established order of things, not to the individuals taking the psychedelics, but to the established order of things, that people couldn't be so easily brainwashed, that they'd start to think for themselves make decisions for themselves, would start to question government behavior and the behavior of big corporations and the behavior of the big religions too.
Yeah.
All of these
yeah.
would be questioned from people who'd had deep experiences with psychedelics. So the decision was made, let's wage a propaganda war against psychedelics. Let's make people believe that these are really deadly, harmful things when in fact they're not.
Everything that heals and opens your mind is illegal. And everything that dumbs and numbs your mind is legal. Like what? It's just a control system.
Trip, huh?
Yeah. What the flip? Hello?
Look at that plane doing it right there.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's that one.
It is. I can see it. I know. I can see it in my camera.
Why is he doing that?
I don't know. What is that?
They're cooking something out.
Yeah, what?
Perfect working order. That's fucking insane, Walmart. I keep catching you guys mislabeling this stuff and overcharging us for underweighed products.
It's essentially sand. They're beef filling. They're not allowed to call it beef filling. They have to call it taco filling because
it's not beef.
The beef has silicone in it to make it fuller and more. Look it up.
I guess the ingredients. It's not in there.
Silicon dioxide, anti-caking agent. Now look that up.
Anti-caking agent to avoid clumping in supplements. It's used to prevent the various powdered ingredients from sticking together. As many food additives, consumers often have concerns about silicon dioxide as an additive.
Probably
Is
fine.
it safe?
Look at that. That's sand. See that? That's they put in there.
Also frequently found in health food nutritional supplements as an additive, silicon dioxide primarily functions as an anti-caking agent, which prevents ingredients from binding together because it's not food. Duh. Why is it in there though?
36% beef.
Oh, it's only 36% beef in Taco Bell.
The other 64% is a wide range of fillers, extenders.
What in oh my god, dude. My good people, we really gotta boycott all these fast food restaurants for real.
Your thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field. Your emotions, they're the magnetic charge. Together, they create your electromagnetic signature, a broadcasted signal you send out into the field every second of your life. Now listen, you can't think one thing and feel another and expect your life to change. You might think abundance, but if you feel unworthy, you're sending out a very different signal. When your thoughts and feelings are aligned, when you think greater than you feel, that's when you become a magnet for new possibilities. The quantum field doesn't respond to what we want. It responds to who we are being. So the real work needs us to become the future version of yourself now. Feel it, think it, live it, and let the field respond.
You think artificial intelligence is not a threat, but the creator of OpenAI, which is the most famous artificial intelligence company in the world, walks around with a backpack with a kill switch for the artificial intelligence in case it gains consciousness and takes over the world at any second. This is the person that created ChatGPT, by the way. He walks around with a backpack with a kill switch for the artificial intelligence because he's worried that it'll gain consciousness.
I'm sorry, but if AI ever tries to take over the world, do you really think that kill switch is gonna work? I put my money on probably not.